Hey, it's Kelly here, former crack addict, recovery coach, and Life Beyond Sobriety. That is my private online community for people in addiction recovery who want to set big goals now that they're sober and make those goals happen. We learn strategies in weekly live coaching sessions to make those things come true. Go to lifebeyondsobriety.com and check it out 2 weeks for free.
He got some pirates, save America. They got some pirate, chopped down cherry tree with George Washington. They got some pirate, beat the British in Revolutionary War. They got some pirate, built the Continental Railroad. They got some pirate, won the Civil War. They got some pirate, save America. They got some pirate, discover electricity. They got some pirate, made the first flying machine. They got some pirates, saved the world in World War I. They got some pirates, saved the world in World War II.
What's good? What's good, y'all? Welcome to Big Ox and Pirates America. Thank y'all for coming today. Make sure y'all like the video on the way in so you don't got to like it on the way out. First things first, let me direct your attention down to the bottom of the screen. You can't buy energy. You got to get some sleep. Shout out to my man Brizzy for the quote of the year. As y'all know, we are here to talk about political things, politics as usual, and we're gonna keep it real with y'all. Give y'all our thoughts, our standpoints, and also send out the link to let y'all give some of your own. Pirate, what's going on?
How you doing, Ox? Been a little while.
Yeah, man. It's been a busy couple weeks, man.
Yeah.
Happy to be back though, for sure.
Yeah, me too, man. A lot's gone on since our last episode there. I see Chill. I see Chill in the chat. Hey, Chill, how you doing?
Yeah, what up, Chill? All right, Chill. I hope you got this Game 5 on. I got Game 5 on in the background right now. Minnesota got out early on them 6-0. As Mr. T pointed out earlier, he said, ain't no way y'all started this up the same time as Game 5. Hey, Mr. T, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. We got to get this off, and Game 5 is here. John Coyle, that's a travel. Oh, big body. But anyways,
yeah, Ox, you know, I'm not the biggest WNBA fan. A friend of mine told me he saw on TV it looked like Godzilla and King Kong were having at it in the Big Apple, but then I guess it's just the WNBA finals. So.
What you mean by that? What happened? What happened? I'm trying to. What you mean?
Just big, monstrous, lumbering ladies.
Oh shit. Okay, I see what you're saying. I don't like your disdain for the WNBA.
It's not disdain. It's all good humor. I mean, I appreciate women's athletics. I do. I just, there's only so many hours in the day to watch sports. So
Right.
Got to prioritize.
Yeah, I had to when I was in New York. I had to make sure to get there. I had to make sure to go check out Game 2.
I saw that. Yeah.
It was great. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get straight to it. We don't got much time today, y'all. It's going to be a shorter episode. Actually, we're expecting some company here shortly. I don't know where our guest is, but hopefully they show up soon. In the meantime, let's talk about this map. Like to put the map up. We like to put the map up every episode and kind of show, is it more red, more blue? Who's the country leaning towards? And it looks like this week it's heavily red.
Yeah. It looks like it's been a couple of weeks since we did a show. Kamala went on kind of a media blitz there. She wasn't doing interviews for a long time. Then she went around. She was doing a lot of interviews, and they did not seem to go too well. So it's starting. It's starting to look. It's starting to look bad, honestly, for her prospects.
I mean, it says. So you need 270 electoral votes to be nominated or to win. And it looks like right now Trump is at 312.
Yeah, and her biggest issue is that he's leading in every swing state right now.
Right.
So, I mean, we've talked before about that Northeast wall, the Rust Belt, Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania, all that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for her to win, she's got to do really well there. Like, essentially, because Ohio's out of play now. Ohio is most definitely Trump. So if Trump has, so if Trump has Ohio in the pocket, Pennsylvania is huge. Like, essentially, you could look at it, out of those four states up there, she can only let Trump win one of them at most. And even if he just wins one, he could still win, but he can't win more than one. And right now,
looks like she's not doing too well in Georgia.
I think Georgia's probably gone. I mean, there's a chance, but it's not looking good. She needs Wisconsin, which she doesn't have. If you scroll down, they've actually added on this page a little bit more detail on the battleground states that we can look at. And if you look at the overall picture, if you scroll down, down to there, down this whole chart area here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, the pattern that you see that's really telling is if you look at her numbers in the polls in all these states, they're much lower than what Biden was 4 years ago. And Biden's numbers 4 years ago were much higher than what the actual election result was. And I don't know if we can see that, or the numbers might be too small.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, I mean, it's not looking good, man. Like, honestly, at this point, like, she might fuck around and like lose Oregon or some shit like that.
No,
the way it's looking right now. Yeah, no, it's within possibility. Oregon's below 5%, and I mean that's close to what the margin of error has been the last two elections. Like, probably not. I would say she's going to win Oregon, but when to win, you have to be winning these other Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and now she's actually. Because it's across the board, it's every state. Like in New York, she's up 13%.
Mm-hmm.
Biden was up like 23%.
Wow.
In California, it's like 22%. Biden was like 30%. It's every state is significantly lower, and that's not going to cut it.
So I mean, I know that she did finally go on Fox. So I want to check out some of that interview. Let's look at some of that.
Yeah, no, we should have put a bet on that because you would have won. Right. You were saying you wanted to see her go on Fox. I didn't think she would do it. She did do it.
You had to.
But
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I wish the episode were longer so we could watch the whole thing because it was a very interesting interview as far as.
Let's check some of this out.
Madam Vice President, thank you for the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Brett.
Can you hear this?
Voters tell pollsters
Yeah.
all over the country and here in Pennsylvania, immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than.
Let me know if you want to stop it or anything.
How many illegal immigrants would you
We'll just pause it for a second.
estimate your administration has released?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then maybe rewind 10 or 15 seconds. What I want you to notice, what I notice is, pay attention to. Now, I feel like this interview was chock full of direct questions. I feel like she was given 15 to 18 direct questions, and so just listen to the question and tell me if you think you got a direct response.
Well, I don't expect
to the
I don't expect a direct
questions
response from any politician, but I'll see. Direct
All
response
over
is
the
on something
country
I'm used to.
and
from
here
a
in
politician.
Pennsylvania, that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you
now,
just a
which
number?
is-
Do you
but-
think it's
but,
1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your
And-
Homeland Security Secretary said that
Well, no,
85%
but
of
I'm not
apprehensions.
finished. I'm not finished. We have an
It's a rough
immigration
estimate of
system
6 million people
that
have been
needs to be-
released.
Well, he's not letting her get it off, so you don't. I
Yeah,
don't
they-
know what he's
they-
doing. He
they came out hot, right?
He could have done a much better job just letting her talk, though.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny how hot this interview came out. Like usually,
Right.
you'll start to clash. I don't know, at least a few minutes into the interview, but
Right.
yeah, they pretty much start going at her from Jump Street.
Mind you, I can see where she kind of wants to beat around the bush and not be direct, but he's not even allowing her to do that. Like I feel like sometimes an interviewer, you got to let her bury herself. He's just trying to bury her. So let's see what happens.
Into the country.
No, and to let you know that was a common criticism that he kind of jumped the gun. He probably should have let her go on at least another 30 seconds or so to let it flesh out. But then she came right back and she's like, let's cut to the chase. And so it was pretty much it was a contentious interview from like the first minute of the interview.
Right.
That's good
Let's
stuff.
see how this plays out.
When you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the CHIPS and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the. Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
But
you have to let me finish.
You had the
please.
White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and they
in the
didn't
middle
bring up
of
that bill.
responding to the point you're raising,
Okay.
and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he's being an asshole.
We
So
recognize
you see it all on his side.
Your first question. It is a
You said what?
Cutting her off.
Yeah, 100%.
You see it as just him
talking. Yeah, That's the only way to see it. She's talking and he won't let her finish.
Yeah, but it's an interview. I mean,
you gotta look when you ask somebody a question like that. That's not a yes or no question. You know what I'm saying? That answer.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're
that answer, you need to be able to explain. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to go into depth, and he's not even allowing her to do that. He's just 100% trying to call. He's just 100% trying to cause some ruckus. He doesn't want to know the answers. He's just trying to be combative. He's trying to be argumentative. He wants to argue. He doesn't want to do an interview. You can see that from the jump.
Well, I've got to kind of. I mean, I feel like with an interview, you have to kind of defer to the interviewer to be able to clarify whatever the question or the topic is. Otherwise, like you're saying, politicians. The game of being a politician is dancing around questions, right?
It is,
so,
but he's not even letting her do that though. That's what I'm saying. Like what he should have done is instead of an interview, he should have challenged her to a debate because that's clearly what he wants to do. He doesn't want to interview her. He's cutting her off.
Interesting.
And then when she's saying let me finish my my response. Instead, he goes on to another point and he's drilling in more facts, asking different questions. Like, let her, if you believe she's gonna lie, the best thing you can do is let her lie. You know what I'm saying? Like I've learned that before. When you're talking to somebody, you know that they're gonna try to spin a tale or tell a fib. The best thing to do is lead them into that. Like, go ahead, let them lie. That way, I know, boom, I got you lying. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be here talking about, oh, but you did this, and well, no, but you did that. No, let him talk himself into a hole, and he's not trying to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can kind of. He definitely did come out a little hot. I feel like she came out a little hot too, though. But I also feel like this because we all know what this is the first contentious interview that she's faced.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there has to be some allowance to be able to clarify the question on behalf of the interviewer when the subject starts going sideways. But
right,
well, again, this is what we're like 1 minute into it, and you can see they've already clashed like 2 or 3 times. So
right, what type of interview this is going to be
for us as a
nation. I love this stuff,
and our focus has been.
Because honestly, with politicians, most politicians, they end up doing interviews with people who are sympathetic to their cause, and that just gets so boring after a while because you hear the same answer interview after interview, the same question, right, and no follow-ups. So.
I'm definitely not mad at it. I'm definitely not mad at an interview that goes back and forth. Like I prefer it to get a little heated and go off a little bit, but I still want them to, you can do that with allowing each other to finish.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'll just go.
Been on fixing a problem, and from day one, then we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between border entry points. That's the work we did, and we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, to actually strengthen the border. That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done as the former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
6 Democrats voted against that.
Well, see, now, at this point, like,
told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election, this is rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you.
but actually is focused on fixing
Six
it.
Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal
pause it for a
immigrants into
second.
the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a
Oh yeah, pause it right there. So you can.
These are the Democrats. These are the Democrats that voted against it.
Yeah, and look who's up there. Ux. I mean, you know, Booker and Bernie are up there,
Wow.
right? So I don't think Trump was. I don't think Trump convinced Booker and Bernie to vote against it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, just dissecting that first 3 minutes.
Wait,
you could say
those six no's. Those
Yeah.
6 no's. I mean, that just means. I mean, that's not close to a majority or anything. That's just 6 Democrats.
No, but that's huge in the Senate makeup as it is now, because we're in a 50-50 Senate.
Right.
So
Well,
if
I'm
you
saying,
can't
but
you
how
can't
many-
have 6. You can't have 6 of your own senators voting against a bill and expect it to pass. Just in the makeup of a Senate, you know, it would be different if we were in a Senate, a 60-40 Senate. Then you have space, but in a 50-50 Senate, you can't. So yeah, they voted no. But so just dissecting those first 3 minutes, you know, he cut her off a couple times, but when she was allowed to speak, especially towards the end, she did get off a solid, 2 minutes there. If you look at he cut her off because the questions were yes and no questions, where if you're going to address the question, you would start off by answering that yes or no and then elaborate. And she didn't do that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's a good point that he made. Let's see. We'll watch a little bit more of this.
These are the 6 Democrats. But more importantly, back to the original premise, Jocelyn Nungary, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe
Brett,
those families an apology?
Let me just say.
Do you owe those families an apology?
Cases. There's no question about that. There's no question about that. And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true.
Pirate, do you hold her responsible for the lives of those young women?
No, I don't like that question, and I don't like when we're talking about macro politics, like governing a nation of 350 million people. I really hate it when either politicians or the media try to distill it down to like single case scenarios, like, oh, but what about John Smith in Massachusetts and his situation? I do feel like the question should be on a much broader scope and not not trying to pull at the heartstrings for individual cases here or there, because we are a huge nation. There 100,000 bad things happen every day in America. So yeah, I don't like the personal story angles to politics. I hate it when politicians do it too. Like, oh, look at how my bill affected, Maria Rodriguez and her 5 daughters. I hate that shit. We should be talking about the country as a whole. But yeah, I mean, we don't need to watch this whole interview since we're kind of short on time. But she has been doing media blitz. She was on much friendlier platforms like The View I don't know if you saw any clips from her appearance on The View.
No, I
The
didn't.
big soundbite from that one was that she was asked, what would you do differently from the Biden administration? And she said she couldn't think of anything, which came off not good, because the Biden administration is not popular right now. So she does find herself.
Why? I mean, what was she
Yeah,
supposed to say to that?
well, that's the thing. She finds herself in a kind of sticky situation, right? Because she's the vice president for a unpopular administration. So she has to walk this line between the credentials to being president would be that you have done something while as vice president, right? But then also she has to kind of distance herself from an administration that's not popular. And this is where, the narrative has kind of evolved that she's walking that line and not really committing to either side. She says that it's going to be a reformation candidacy, and that she's going to come in as a agent of change. But then that's kind of hard to do when you were part of the administration.
Right.
So, it's a sticky situation to be in for the best of politicians. And I mean, I've just, got to be frank that she is politically speaking, she is not the best of politicians. She hasn't been able to articulate her platform very well so far, compared to just historically speaking, compared to what you would expect from someone at this point. And that's
What is this?
I think that
what is this Barack?
the Barack, I don't know, it could be a couple. I forget. He had one. Barack had a couple of clips that kind of made news the last couple of weeks. So, if you want to just start playing it, I'll recognize it when we see it. It's probably either going to be when he was talking to a group of black men, kind of saying that people are misogynistic for not voting for a woman. It might be that one. I don't know.
Well, anyways, y'all, we are gonna move on. Play a couple more clips. Our guest has arrived. He's in the back. Let's get to that. Let's get to my guy. Jalen Carter, what's up, man?
What's up, fellas? Another
So
day in the grind.
you know time of year it is in America. We are it's politics season. So we think we pull up the guy from another country, and maybe we can get some some intake on what does our country look like from the outside looking in, and maybe if there's any similarities or or opposing things that you would like to point out. But what's going on, Jalen? How you been?
Yeah,
What up, Jalen?
What's up, fellas? Big Ox Pirate, my guys. Living life, hanging out. In terms of it's actually pretty interesting how a lot of kind of Toronto these social media pages actually share a lot of Donald Trump stuff, calm us up in American politics. It is fascinating to a lot of people, especially when you have Trump running, right? Always an opinion or something to say. So he definitely captivates the comments, which gets it going. In terms of similarities, even right now, so right now in Canada, our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, left wing, super unpopular. Like you think Biden's unpopular? Double that, just because the way people think he handled COVID with the serious lockdowns, some of the tax stuff. Like people really hate this man. So listen, Biden's polls look good compared to Trudeau's. That's how bad Trudeau's kind of doing. His own party is kind of asking him to resign or step down. A lot of people. So his time definitely come to an end. So we have Pierre Paul.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just point out in Canada, it's a little different. We got our two-party system. So in America, when you drop below 50%, that's bad. But Canada, most of their guys are getting voted into office with between like 33, 38% of the vote already. right? Because you're split between 3-4 major parties.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
yeah, the
yeah.
NDP is kind of like the third, but it really is a two-party system too. Like the NDP had one election where they finished second when Jack Layton was alive and he was really popular, but he passed away and that party kind of fell off ever since.
So the NDP is really not doing too well right now?
No, I mean, Jagmeet Singh is maybe even more unpopular than Trudeau. Some of it is definitely a bit of this kind of we've had an immigration situation where they kind of brought in too many individuals, international students from India, and it's just been too much. So the housing market hasn't kept up. Basically, nothing has kept up the amount of people we brought in, and there's been some incidents. Obviously, people within that community that came in. So he's just really unpopular because he tends to stand up for that. So it's
like immigration and borders is just like a top issue in pretty much every developed state right now.
I think America's different because it's because you guys border Mexico. Ours is we chose to let them in because they're paying double the tuition for universities. Like there's a stats that's saying, so basically the government came out and said we're going to limit immigration now because they realize problems. And the stat is the University of Toronto, which is like our Harvard, is going to lose $400 to $600 million because they lost the tuition of that many students. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of money that these schools kind of use, and these schools are obviously government funded, this and that. So that's
right
on it. But in terms of similarities, I mean, even our right wing, he's very much a Mitt Romney right wing. Like there's no one like a Trump. You know what I mean?
I mean, your right wing is like our Democrats.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, it's almost like a Hillary Clinton.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Even though I guess Pierre's a little more, he wants to have a little more kind of privatized healthcare, which a lot of Canadians actually aren't.
Or are they talking about that now?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of his talking points. Even though the main talking point is cost of living, and just too many and immigration, housing crisis, housing costs, things of that nature. But what you guys always say with America, like as much as like you just watched that interview, how many independents are really watching that interview and deciding? I would say 0.001%.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that.
Because I don't know.
It does. It always surprises me how large the chunk of people who go like right up to a week or two before the election and still say they're undecided. Like it boggles the mind that you would still be on the fence this close to the election. But
and they're known. They're not like new. You know what I mean? So I think everyone has their mind made up for the most part.
Well, Kamala is kind of new. I mean, she's not new. Like she's been vice president for 4 years, but honestly, she was one of the most backroom vice presidents in my lifetime. Like honestly, I mean, before Biden dropped out, Kamala had the lowest approval rating of any vice president in modern history.
Yeah, but I just like how much do we really pay attention to vice presidents? Like even Biden during Obama, who was Dick Cheney, Bush's vice president? Yeah, VP. I mean, people know Dick Cheney because of the war stuff and that happened. But most part, a vice president goes to like funerals that the president can attend. They go do like readings in schools. They might visit a leader of a country that again the president couldn't make. You know what I mean? The vice president never really does much.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say you'd have to go back to Al Gore was a pretty high profile.
Yeah, he was a high profile
vice president.
Yeah.
And then George H. Bush, he just kind of he just rode Reagan's coattails
100%
into the White House. He wasn't very very high profile.
I think the Democrats had an easy win here if they just picked Gavin Newsom. Even though if I was in states, I'd still vote for Kamala Harris over Trump. I don't hate Trump. I actually agree with a lot of what he says. But to me, again, people do say you want to vote for the person. Like Trump and Kamala can say a lot of things, but people have to realize like if their party that's behind them, people in the Senate don't agree with them, what they say can't happen. Like Trump or Kamala might say, I want to lower these taxes, I want to do this, but based on even Trump's presidency before, there's a lot of things he wanted to do that he couldn't get done because the votes weren't there. Right? So it's just like, to me, you can't just vote on what the president wants. In some ways, you do have to vote based on what the party wants, based on what a lot.
Well, and Jalen, honestly, I think that's one of the most myopic viewpoints of the general American. We always attach a year to the president, right? Like, what was happening? What was happening in 2018 was due to Donald Trump. I feel like so much of this stuff is actually dictated by who controls the House and Senate.
Mm-hmm.
because the House and Senate has so much power over a lot of these things, like our economic policies.
100%.
But just historically speaking, we don't do that, right? It's like we don't attribute what happens in each year to who had control of Congress. Because it's so much easier just to point to the one person who's president.
Yeah,
and say that everything that happens because of this person.
It's also confusing because a lot of times we might say, okay, whatever happened during that presidency, we're going to put the blame or give them that benefit. But a lot of times those things happen because of what presidents from the past, whether it's one or even two, have done.
And then there's a lag.
To me, even like Bush gets blamed for the house. Look, I think Bush did a lot of things wrong, sure, but like that housing crisis, that's not on him. That's a building that happened throughout decades of improper, giving out mortgages, taking away regulations. I think it started first with Ronald Reagan, who people love, but I think he's one of the worst presidents ever. We can have that conversation, but I think it really started with him.
I think he was the best.
There you go, right?
There's a lot of things like how you're saying. I was saying that happens in every presidency. Every presidency, there's something happens where the president gets blamed for it when it has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with something. Rather, and that's rather it's a Democrat or a Republican. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them get blamed for stuff, and not only that, a lot of them get praised for stuff they have nothing to do with too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's
absolutely.
A lot of things I think a lot of this presidential stuff is a lot of it's a facade, and a lot of it they're just kind of just taking credit or taking blame for stuff that they don't really got control over.
I wouldn't go so far as say it's a facade because it is a very powerful position. But like Jalen said, I think that the two biggest factors that people tend not to factor in are one, the lag of it. It takes policies, a few years to set in and see the effects, and then also the House and the Senate and who's in control there and what they're doing. It's a huge impact on.
I also think this election is just going to come down to. I think
it's hard to dissect.
This election between Trump and Kamala is just going to come down to. I think Trump's taking a lot of the kind of base Democratic voters of colored men, whether it be black men, Latino men, Asian men, whatever the case may be. But then Kamala just has to overperform with white suburban women, black women, Latino
which she
women,
is,
which she is, right? So it's really going to, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to certain pockets within, I think, 3 or 4 states, wherever they are. Like really, it's come down to 3 or 4 states, right? It got like what California does, they're going to do them. What Texas does, they're going to do them. But it's coming out. What are the 4 like toss ups? Is it like what is it? North Carolina? Is it?
Well, no. I mean, right. We're looking at Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I'd say those are the three biggest swing states that are really necessary. Kamala needs to form a blue wall in that area to win.
I mean, it's going to be a coin flip. And I do think Democrats do a better job of, or it seems like, of bringing voters out, whether the mail-in ballots, whatever. They seem to just have a thing where they get voters to come out and vote. So I think Kamala will probably edge it out. I think, and again, she'll win the popular vote, which I think Democrats will probably always win for a long time. If she wins the popular vote,
you're saying, Jalen, that you think Kamala Harris is going to win this election?
Oh yeah, I think Kamala Harris.
Would you be willing to put any money on?
No, I
know you still got some ticket money lying around.
Oh no, these parlays been hurting. So
you blew through the ticket money.
This parlay's been hurting out here.
We do.
I think Jalen.
I want to get to this clip that we're gonna do real quick. This is a segment called "Is Donald Trump Racist?" Jalen, I want to get your input on this, obviously. And Pirate, I want yours. We're gonna do this quick clip, y'all. Let's figure it out.
Some people say he's in the KKK. Is Donald Trump racist? Big ox and pirate us every week. Is Donald Trump racist? Does he like dark skin if it's not to tan? Does he hate Mexicans and Africans? If you are Puerto Rican, will he shake your hand? Is Donald Trump racist? Is Donald Trump racist? Clip of the week. Is Donald Trump racist? Clip of the week.
Let's get down to the bottom line, y'all.
W site.
Absolutely. She wants to go into government housing. She wants to go into government feeding. She wants to feed people. She wants to feed people governmentally. She wants to go into a communist party type system. When you look at the things that she proposes, they're so far off. She has no clue. How about allowing people to come to an open border, 13,000 of which were murderers? Many of them murdered far more than one person, and they're now happily living in the United States. You know, now a murderer, I believe this, it's in their genes, and we got a lot of bad genes in our country right now. They had 400.
Was that a little racist? I mean, they came over here.
I figured this is a topic where he pretty much comes out with a clip a week, so we should have enough ammo for this segment once a week. But that seemed to be the top is he racist question of the week. That clip. There.
Well, I'm saying if you're saying that these people came from all these places and then just being the murderers in their genes, I mean, does that seem racist to you, Jalen?
I think it's a very stupid thing to say. I think Donald Trump's a lot of things. Race is just not one of them. I mean, this guy's been a part of pop culture for decades, right? This is not someone that's new that just came about. He's been around for decades, seen him interact, be friendly with people literally from all over the world. Do I think he puts his foot in his mouth? Yes. Do I think what he's trying to do is kind of galvanize his supporters, saying, hey, the illegal immigration is the problem. They're killing our people. And like you guys said, the segment before, both sides do it, where, the right, especially Fox News, anytime a pretty blonde girl with blue eyes or a brunette white girl gets killed by an immigrant, it paints this picture of colored evil people coming in, killing our innocent little girls, right? It paints that. While Democrats on the right, anytime a crazy white guy does something, whether shoot up a school, kill something, like, oh, look at all these white men, crazy people doing this, right? So they both have these kind of they both have this idea of what the bad and good are, what they'll push to kind of, again, galvanize voters. So I think that's just politics. And, it's kind of the saying, everything is fair, love, war, and politics. So do I think he's, again, stupid thing to say? Sure. But do I think Donald Trump's a racist?
But now, Jalen, we're judging just individually that clip, 1 to 100. So,
I mean, that clip. How racist was that clip?
That clip, 1 to 100. How racist was that clip?
Okay, so that clip was probably a 75, 80.
Oh, 70. Yeah. Wow, that's high.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is
75, 80. I'm thinking.
I'm thinking about 82, 83% racist for sure.
80, 82. God, man, I feel like 80, 82 is pushing like putting on a hood. Like that's high out of 100.
Putting on a hood, that's 100.
It's a racist thing.
I mean,
the tent wasn't there.
I feel like Hitler's 100. Let's say Hitler's 100.
Well,
like Mein Kampf is 100. Like I'm gonna exterminate a race off the face of the planet. I would say he's
right now. I know this is a little bit off track, but Nafisa Collier got what I call sit downs. That's called that's the highest level of defense you can have. All right, go ahead.
She's in the chair.
Brianna Stewart is kind of taken right now.
She's doing her Gary Payton impersonation.
That's how you sit. That's called sit downs. Yeah, she got those.
Who sat down? Who sat down better than Gary Payton? Nobody.
I can't think of nobody. I can't think of nobody. He really
I can't go 80. That's super high. I do. He's God. He talks so much. He puts his foot, like Jalen said, he puts his foot in his mouth, just like crazy. I think his issue with that clip is when you use the word genes.
Yeah, that's
when she starts saying genes and genetic, that's gonna like trigger a lot of people right away. I mean, I think within the context of that clip, he said being a murderer is in your genes.
Yeah, but that's
and then we have a lot of people with bad genes. So
when you start talking about genes power, that edges you towards eugenics, and then that's at that point it's like, okay, we see what's going on.
Yeah. Semantically, it's hard to dig yourself out of that hole. Even if, like, I do believe he qualified it. So, like, if you read just the word by word, it wasn't directly saying race. But once you use the word genes, then it's hard to explain. Yeah, it's hard to explain.
100%. That was a racist statement. I'm with you, Jalen. I don't think Donald Trump is really a racist. Like, I think he's just an all white dude, so he not racist, but you know, he racist though. You know what I mean? You know what
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he not racist. Like, he don't hate black folks or
he
just
hate,
racist. You know what I'm saying? He an all white dude. He racist, but he not though. You know what I mean? But I want to get through a couple of these clips. Our time is actually being cut very short. We don't got much time left. I want to ask you, Jalen, would something like this ever happen in a school in Canada? Let me ask you this. Let me find the clip I'm looking for. I want to do this. Yeah, this one here. Okay. Hold on.
But if you vote for Donald J. Trump, apparently.
Okay, here we go.
Do you guys think this is normal for them to bring politics into school? And if they vote for, I live in California, by the way, but if you vote for Kamala Harris, then you're going to get a pizza party. But if you vote for Donald J. Trump, apparently you are excluded. Do you guys think this is normal for them to bring politics?
Was that one? And then hold on, I'm gonna play this.
That's pretty crazy.
It's. I mean, that's how I grew up.
These are elementary school.
Yeah, man, elementary, middle schoolers.
Okay, but you guys are having a Kamala Harris Day.
Yes, and it's in honor of Black History Spirit Week for Black History.
Okay, but you're making a political, like that's it's not Black history. You're making a political statement.
I'm not sure how I'm making a political statement.
Kamala Harris Day. She's the current Vice President of the United States.
Yes, and I myself did not make the week up. We can have a further conversation if you feel that it is inappropriate for us to have that. I'm not stating that I agree or disagree with you. Just be mindful of that. I'm just doing what I have to do in my position and in my job.
Okay, so are you the one making this decision?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, then, I guess I'll make my own ultimatum.
Okay.
Either bite your tongue, suck it up like we have to do, or these are the kind of clothes that they're going to be wearing to school every day for the rest of the school.
Okay, and like I stated, I talked to my mom. Mom was very understanding, and she told me that she understood why they could not wear something like that in school. And we don't actually have anyone wearing a Kamala Harris shirt.
So yeah, I mean, Ox, did you go to school in California when you were that age, or?
Yeah, I went to California school in California all my life.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that was pretty common for me. I don't know what your experience was, but we had very politically active teachers. Yeah. And
we should definitely talk about every election. I remember we did something for Bush versus Gore. I definitely remember Bush versus Gore. I think that was 2000, right?
2004? 2000.
No, 2000.
Yeah, so I think that put me in like the 5th grade or 6th grade.
That's crazy. 5th grade, y'all talking about politics? I didn't.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I didn't know about. We didn't talk anything political till maybe the first political thing that ever came up in throughout elementary, middle school, high school was Obama's election. We never talked about it because that was such a moment. You know what I mean? He was so popular. Like I always say, I always say 2008 is the last time America was ever truly united, the day he got elected. But even like just kind of worldwide, everyone had this whole thing. Wow, a black man. You can visibly see him being a black man, being president of the United States. It was a big deal, and I think that he was such a brilliant orator. I always say like Obama's such a brilliant.
He is a great speaker.
He knows how to make speech. Knows how to make speeches to large groups of people. That's such a skill in politics. I think people don't realize. Like if you're great at that, he was amazing at it. Whether you like him or not, that guy had speeches that make you inspired. You know what I mean? You leave that speech thinking, damn, like I want to do something along those lines. So Yeah, but in
I
terms of
don't.
politics, we never, especially in like elementary, middle school. There's no. I was never exposed to any
We did.
politics.
We definitely did, Jalen. But I will say for sure, any teachers I ever had that we spoke on politics, they were very, very adamant about having your own mind, your own voice, and voting the way you wanted to. I've never had a teacher try to push politics on us, especially when we were young. Like when we were young, I can't tell you where my teachers stood in politics. I know they would teach us about it, and they would always tell us to exercise your vote, always tell us like, you know what I'm saying, be open-minded, and you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, I was never persuaded in any way at school, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to where I should vote. So that's the only reason a lot of stuff is just kind of weird to me nowadays, where whether it's no matter what, like the left or right, it's just weird to me that they be trying to do this stuff to kids, because that didn't happen to me, and that's my experience personally. We were told that this is America, you know what I'm saying, and you got the right to vote any way you want, you know what I mean. So
I didn't go to school in California, the States, but I wonder again, seeing a show like Young Sheldon that takes place in Texas. So I wonder if, you know, in Texas, the reverse happens.
Right, if that leans more red.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
in some places, you have to assume in rural places, in any state, you know what I'm saying, I would assume. And in some bigger, you know, in some areas, I'm sure that, you know what I'm saying, it's pushed, like you know, that right wing or left wing. I can guarantee, even when I was younger, it's always happened, you know, in certain places. I'm just saying my experience isn't that. But I know for a fact.
Well, I mean, no, that's great to hear for you two's experience. That was definitely not my experience. Now, like you're saying, I was raised in very blue areas of the country, but man, ever since kindergarten, there was a heavy political influence. Like, I'm not even kidding. They would take us out on field trips to go march for propositions on the ballot, or you know, when you're like 7-8 years old. You know?
That's insane.
I feel like that is just horrible. Like, there is no place for that for public education, which is obviously funded by the state and the government. What's that?
We had Terry Fox Day. That was a big thing for us when we were kids. So basically, he was
what is that?
So he was a Canadian that was battling cancer, and he lost his leg, and then so he walked across Canada in one leg to raise money for it. And this was back like in the 70s or 80s, I believe, one of those times. And ever since then, every year there's Terry Fox Day, where you go out of school, you just walk laps around the school to kind of remember him.
He was
cancer.
Who was he raising money for? What
cancer research?
Oh, cancer research.
Cancer research. Yeah. Like he literally
that's fine. That sounds apolitical.
And he passed away on the walk. Like he couldn't, like halfway something happened, and he ended up passing away. Yeah.
He walked across Canada on one leg?
He had like a prosthetic on like one leg.
And he died doing it?
Yeah, he died right. I should look at it. It's been a while. Yeah.
Did his doctors clear him to do that, or he just did it against their wishes?
That's crazy. Details.
I'm guessing the doctors probably did not.
Yeah, I'm saying if he died doing it, that's crazy.
Let me see.
But he probably, I don't think it was the walking that killed him. Probably kept him alive a little longer, I would guess. You know, the exercise.
Following months. Never mind. It wasn't the following months he received multiple chemotherapy and he died. So it wasn't the walk. He died right after.
So he still had the cancer. I thought like cutting his leg off or something was a way to get. So he still died battling cancer.
Yeah,
okay,
he still died
battling. I got you. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot of stuff for, you know, people that are active and doing, like, we got, especially in California, you know, we do Cesar Chavez and all that. You know, we do a lot of stuff. So, you know, all that.
Yeah, no, I mean, commemorating people and stuff from the past. That's different. I'm talking about like active politics, 2-day politics. You know,
what I think it's just the, what do you call it? The, like this, what, I can't think of the word on top of my head right now, but like the disparity in Canada is like how different sides are now versus like 2000, Al Gore versus Bush. Okay, like cool, you know, they deferred on some things that Democrat, Republican, but for the most part, you know, it's not such a huge gap. I didn't think. John Kerry, Bush, boom. It started happening. I want to say again. Oh wait, like even Obama versus McCain. Yes, there's a little bit more noticeable disparity, but then and then the election after that, Mitt Romney, Obama, But then I guess,
And also, you know, just to go back, since you brought up John McCain, I'm surprised Arizona's riding with Trump.
Arizona is very. I mean, it's very, very purple state. They're close to swinging either way, pretty much any election. But there are a lot of conservative people in Arizona.
Oh yeah, I know that. I'm just saying that, you know, just because of the you know, the words that Trump had for John McCain, and you know, John McCain's beloved in Arizona.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think it's probably been enough time to where.
Yeah, it's been almost 8 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And look, a lot of them. I don't think I've ever seen a politician in Canada, USA, any country I could think of that where like his supporters love him as much as the supporters love Trump. Except maybe like, you know, some of the communist countries, but I don't know how you can really measure that. But because his, like, you know, Obama was well loved.
Oh yeah,
Bush had his guys. You know, weird, like Stephen Harper was liked, but like Trump by his voters.
Well, I mean that's a huge.
Like they.
Yeah, that's a huge. No, that's a huge part that makes Trump such an unconventional politician. Right? I mean, he's the biggest braggart in at least go back to Teddy Roosevelt, I suppose. You got to go back like 100 years, you know. But that's just him. He's this rich guy. Everything is all or nothing, right? If you give him a hot dog, it's either going to be the best hot dog ever or it's the worst hot dog ever. You know, everything is either the greatest or the worst. You know.
I think Trump, even after this election, win or lose, I think maybe for the next 3 or 4 elections, he will single-handedly be able to pick who the nominee is based on his endorsement.
I don't know.
I think that's the kind of power that he has.
I don't know. I mean, one interesting thing that you brought up before, and I think you're spot on when you look at the demographic shifts for this election, is you're right on the Republicans. It's bringing in the Black and Hispanic males.
Yeah.
And then on the Democrats look like they're probably going to take a higher share of the white females.
If they can just get more and more with the abortion talk, Kamala can win.
Yeah, I really feel like they hit the ceiling with the abortion. Like
I thought that
when Kamala, like on day one of Kamala's campaign, I was probably like, I don't know what more they can say about abortion to really like gain.
I hear you. I thought so too. You know, they got all those voters, but like, I think once I saw one of the commercials they had, and we talk about getting to people's emotions, like the commercial was like that 10-year-old girl raped, had to go across state lines to get it, was stopped by a cop. Like to me, like I've never seen a more powerful commercial. Like even like people who get killed, let's say by immigrants, like that. I understand why it's emotionally pulling. Like to see that, like the 10-year-old, like I'm telling you, there's not a more emotionally tugging.
No, but I feel like they've capped. I feel like every female voter in America who has abortion as her number one issue, that's baked in the cake. You know, I mean, she's got those voters. So I don't think an abortion ad, a week before the election is going to swing Jebediah in Alabama, off of Trump.
I think everyone in Alabama has got their vote picked out. I don't think anyone in Alabama is switching right now.
But I am really interested to see if the male Hispanic and Black vote sticks to the Republican Party, and like honestly, just for even like not rooting for one side or the other, just for the sake of American politics, I hope so. I hope that I feel like the kind of racial tensions and racial divides have really amplified over the last 8 to 12 years.
Oh yeah,
in politics, and I really want that to go away so that
we started in 08 for sure. I saw this.
So that we stop spending so much time on every policy that comes up becomes like, half of the conversation is about what racial impact and what racial side is on either side of.
Yeah, just keep it
you know,
politics,
'cause-
keep it, quantifiable data. I hear you.
Yeah. When we're talking tax codes and foreign policy and stuff, I just hate to see a huge divide down racial lines. So if we can get it more mixed to where, and with men and female too, and just have, because people are going to have different opinions. I'd like to think that the things like, well, being a man and a woman, that is a little bit more genetically predisposed. But as far as
the right one.
yeah. But as far as racial, I believe that we're all similar enough genetically that nobody is genetically predisposed to having intuitions one side or the other. So it would be nice if just get a bit more of a blend in the political ideology amongst all the races, and just let people be who they are. Some people are more conservative leaning, so some people are more progressive, different stages of their life. But
I don't think Democrats
say,
use the woman card. I don't think there's no, to me there's maybe there's 0.01% of people not voting for Kamala. She's a girl. Sure, there might be a few that exist, but it's almost negligible. It's just not. I don't think it's
and I think it's insulting to both your base. I think it's insulting to Democrats and the Republicans, because I know for a fact, I'll vote for a woman in a heartbeat if I agree with what she says, and she seems qualified.
If Ford was running, I'd probably vote for her. That's just me.
Right. I'm not voting.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't think her being a woman is.
I can't look. I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you like this, Joe. I lived and I love my mother. I lived with a black woman for 17 years. Y'all don't got the heart for that. Y'all don't got the heart for that.
Is she Indian? Her mother's Indian.
Ox, are you on record? You will not vote for a black woman to be president.
And I love all black women. I love my sisters. I love them to death. I love them more than anything in the world. Believe me. But I don't got time. Time for that. She gonna be like
black women.
You don't know what it's like to have a black mama. So you know what I'm saying?
I know.
You would have voted for Michelle?
And I loved it, but it's just too much.
Jalen, why are we putting Michelle as president of the United States? I mean, she was Barack's wife.
Jalen, no. Michelle Obama is very qualified.
Different.
Is she qualified? So you think Michelle Obama has an expert opinion on geopolitical situations, on American history, on economic policy?
I believe she's 5 times more qualified than Donald Trump.
That's facts.
Donald Trump, at least, but he's at least he's been an executive. I like to look to. I think the best thing to be is governor. I think governor is the best qualification for president.
You cannot make an argument that Donald Trump, when he first ran for president, was more qualified than Michelle Obama today.
What? Then Michelle Obama? I mean, I was there. I saw she was Barack's wife.
I mean,
I don't see how that makes you qualified. Why didn't she get into politics?
No, she's openly said she doesn't like getting into politics because of all the extra stuff that comes.
She doesn't even like politics. You want her to be president of the United States?
You don't have to like politics.
She's more qualified than Trump in terms of intelligence. I mean, that's kind of.
I just don't know what qualification. I mean, when you're talking tax codes.
But guys, though, I do we do gotta go though. Did reach the end. I gotta get running. So I told y'all already before we started, y'all, it was gonna be a shorter show today. Apologies for that. We'll get back with y'all next week. Jalen, you got anything to say on your way out?
What I gotta say is, whether Kamala or Trump win, I know a lot of people like to say this is the most important election of our lifetime. This will determine the sun will rise. The sun will rise.
Yeah.
You're still going to have a mortgage. The bills aren't going to magically stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All your problems, all your good things will still be there. I do think a lot of local politics or even state politics might impact your life more than what happens at the federal level. But yeah, the sun will rise and it will be okay. Regardless of who wins, it will be okay.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment. Please, no civil war, people. It's all right. We can all get along. It's we don't need to take this stuff too seriously to where like you really, you hate or have animosity for one side or the other. Or, people who think differently.
The left will scream and yell if Trump wins. I'm like, oh, this guy think they'll scream and yell, do that. The right, every time you hear it, they're like, "Oh, this could be separation. We're gonna leave the union. We're gonna separate from the country."
Motherfuckers ain't going nowhere.
That's what I'm saying. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave the country." None of y'all are leaving the country, moving or doing that. It's just people just get all.
Well, everybody says I've been hearing the leave the country thing after every election. Like when Trump won,
I would just be like, if you really want to take it, I'll buy it for you. I just go on Twitter. If you say that right now, I'll buy you a ticket. I promise you, no one's taking it.
I ain't buying nobody's shit. Ain't nobody going nowhere.
Hey, if I had Elon Musk money.
Yeah, but if you gotta go, you gotta go. Peace out. You know what I'm saying? Shit. This
and so, well, I didn't hear, Jalen. Are you monetarily confident in the outcome of this election, or?
Oh, I don't think there's any fraud going on or stuff. I know the right will say there is.
No, I mean, do you want to make a bet?
Oh no, I got no edge.
Yeah,
and my PayPal got discontinued for like gambling reasons. It's a new rule, so I got to figure that out too to send money again. They got some new rules out here for that.
That's why I just pull up straight to the casino, go straight to the. I don't even download the gambling apps or none of that shit just because it's too easy. It's too much access. You know what I'm saying? Too much access.
It's regulated now for us, the actual sites. It's just if I want to send money overseas.
Yeah, so I can't fuck around with the apps and all that type of stuff because or the websites or nothing because I'll do it too much. So I only gamble when I drive to the casino, and that's like 30 minutes away. So if I really want to go, I'll go lay a parlay down. But fellas, appreciate y'all. Pirate, you got anything you want to say on the way out?
God bless America. It's good to have Jalen up here. Hopefully in future episodes we'll dive into some Canadian. When are you guys gonna have an election? Is that they're gonna pull one?
So basically what's happening is it's going to be called. It probably would have been called, but Jagmeet, the guy at the NDP, the coalition government, so they're working together to stay in power. He's waiting for his pension, so it's a couple more months. Once that pension line hits, they'll call for an election, and everyone knows he's doing it. He probably knows it too. He just can't say it out loud. But I think most people, if you're in that situation, would do that too. Yeah. Like it's just politics. It's what it is. You're gonna wait for your pension to kick. That pension is sweet, right? You all right. So yeah.
Well, God bless America. Next week we'll be just about a week and a half out.
Yeah. When's the American election? November
5th or 6th. It's the first Tuesday, Super Tuesday. So it's gonna be like a week and a half. Next Sunday it'll be just about a week and a half away.
Y'all, everybody watching, y'all make sure y'all exercise your right to vote. You know what I'm saying? Vote if you see fit, or if you don't, then don't. Whatever. But look, this is America, man. You got the right, so y'all do y'all thing. All right, Jalen. All right, Pirate. Appreciate y'all, and hey, we'll be back next week, y'all.
See y'all.
Big Ox and Pirates save America. Big Ox and Pirates chop down cherry tree with George Washington. Big Ox and Pirate beat the British in Revolutionary War. Big Ox and Pirate built the Continental Railroad. Big Ox and Pirate won the Civil War. Big Ox and Pirate save America. Big Ox and Pirate discover electricity. Big Ox and Pirate made the first flying machine. Big Ox and Pirate saved the world in World War I. Big Ox and Pirate saved the world.